Hey there guys, this is just a quick reminder before the video to shoot me a follow on Twitch. It doesn't cost you anything. So, go follow me. I made this video on Twitch and I'll make more in the future. So I'll see you guys there. Hey guys, what's up? FurDaddy here. Today I'm coming at you with a guide on just sort of like what to do before Endwalker. If you're anything like me, you've been kind of waiting around, not really doing too much since the delay. For me, finding my motivation has been in the stuff that I'm going to go over in this video. So it's just sort of like random content that you might not have done that can help progress your account and prepare you for Endwalker. It's sort of all over the board. My focus with this video is going over things that maybe you haven't seen in other videos, so I'll only be briefly touching on the more obvious stuff, and I'll be talking about some content that you might not have heard of or you might not know exists. So all in all, hopefully you enjoy, and I'll see you in the video. Okay, so the first section of this video, I'm just going to go over the things that you've probably heard in other videos if you've watched like my Endwalker prep video or like any other larger content creators, like guides on what to do, and that's just kind of stuff that I'm going to touch over really briefly. So a few of those, in case you haven't considered doing these, are just leveling your alt jobs. Like leveling jobs that you might want to bring into Endwalker might be a good idea. Leveling your crafters and gatherers. I have guides for leveling your crafters and gatherers in the description. If you are just finding my channel now, we kind of have a plan where we're going to go into Endwalker. I'm going to be making guides for how like crafting and gathering for everybody who's watched my like previous guides, and we're going to make a ton of money. So if you want to be part of that, not only subscribe, but check out my crafting and gathering guides and get your gatherers and crafters leveled up to 80 so we're ready for Endwalker. And the other one is Aether Currents. So you might be visiting old zones and doing old content a lot, and Aether Currents are just generally like a good thing to unlock if you haven't done them already. And you can do them all in pretty much a day, especially if you have a friend to ferry you around. So those are just the kind of obvious things that I wanted to go over. You've probably already thought about doing these, but just in case, those are some suggestions. And now we're going to get into the more niche and interesting ones. So my first suggestion is to unlock like any dungeons and trials that you haven't done or haven't unlocked. That includes like alliance raids, dungeons, trials, any of that stuff. This video would be like an hour long if I went over how to unlock every single one of them. But in the description, I have a link to the console games wiki that has all of the dungeons in the game. And if it has a blue quest beside it, it means that it's an unlockable dungeon. So there are, of course, ones in each expansion. There are some particularly cool ones in Stormblood, trials and dungeons, as well as Heavensward. And they actually said that the trials that you do in Heavensward, the Warring Triad is what they're called, and that's the Containment Bay dungeons. Those are going to be lore relevant in Endwalker, so it's a good idea to do those. You can do most of these unsynced, and it's fine to just do them like for the story. It's basically like doing the dungeon on story mode. I also especially recommend the Realm Reborn dungeons, because those ones are really cool, and it's cool because you get to like go back to the dungeons you did at the very beginning of the game, but like they've evolved and there's like a continuing story. Like there's like a Satasha Hard is like a continuation of Satasha, which is kind of neat if that's your sort of thing. So I do recommend doing that, and that's a good way to knock out like a week or so of just doing all these trials that you haven't done yet. Again, the lore is going to come up in Endwalker, so I highly recommend it. And if you look in the description, I have links to the dungeons, trials, and alliance raids. You can check this out there. So my next suggestion is Triple Triad. Now don't click off the video, guys. Triple Triad is really fun, okay? So if you don't like it, give it a chance, all right? You can unlock Triple Triad by doing the quest Triple Triad Trial right here in the Golden Saucer at the Triple Triad Master. And once you unlock it, there's a bunch of fun ways you can get Triple Triad cards. You can spend MGP on like booster packs to open them up. And you can also get all the cards from a variety of interesting ways. And this is really complementary to like the other stuff in this guide, because some stuff I'll touch on later are like ways you can also get Triad cards from it. So it's a cool, like, let's say you're doing a little bit of side content, you can be like, I got a Triple Triad card from this, or like, I gotta make sure I get the Triple Triad cards. It's like a little tiny extension onto like every bit of content that you do. And of course, when you get all the Triple Triad cards, you get like one of the coolest mounts in the game, being the flying card, which is really cool. So I suggest Triple Triad. I also suggest that if you don't like Triple Triad, but you just want something to grind and something to farm, there is this plugin called Triad Helper. And it basically tells you, like if in a match with an NPCs only, it tells you like what cards to play to get a highest win chance and how to build your deck. But more importantly, on the card list, it shows you where to get every single card, and it shows you the ones you haven't obtained yet. Everything about, you know, using add-ons is at your own risk, blah, blah, blah. But I have a link to that in the description. So, Triple Triad. Check it out. Give it a shot. So this next one I highly recommend. I've been doing this a lot on stream, and I think it's a blast, and it gives you some really good rewards. So I think this is definitely something that is a great way to wrap up your experience with Shadowbringers before getting into Endwalker, and that is grinding the Shared Fates. This is also a good experience for your alt jobs, because the Forlorn Maidens that spawn in occasionally when you're fighting the Fates do give you an XP boost. So yeah. I'm going to go over some of the rewards you can get from this, because this is very worth it. But basically how it works is every time you do a fate in an area, you get XP towards this like shared fate counter. And with every fate up until I believe it's like 66 that you do, you get more items unlocked from the store, basically. So some of those items that you can get is you get the Orchestrion rolls for like the overworld for each zone. So you get a world divided, a reason to live, a hopeless race, Bedlam's Brink, and most importantly, Civilizations, which is the Lahi scroll, the Lahi theme. So that's definitely really good. Some other things you can get are some like housing items, like the Academia prospectuses, the Allegan Tombstone of Frivolity, which is like a little like kind of phone thing. You can get the Amaro hatchling, which is really cool. It's like a baby Amaro. You can get the Amarot wall lamp. You can get the butterfly effect minion, butterfly specimen for your wall. You can get a cardboard box, a Crystarium wall chronometer from like the final vendor. You can get dancer barding for your chocobo. You can get like a really nice fruit platter. You can get deep shadow barding. You can get the elemental wheel that Urianger talks about in Shadowbringers. Just all kinds of stuff. That's not everything, but I have on the list. I have a list in the description of everything you can get from this, but you can get like really awesome minions. Another great one is the micro gigatender. That's another good minion you can get. So you can get all kinds of really cool stuff from this. So I highly recommend it. And you just basically do fates in each zone. Talk to the gemstone trader before you start, and do fates in each zone until you're done. And it's great. Get some friends together, especially, and it's a blast. So yeah, the next one on the list is the Shared Fates, and I highly recommend you guys do that. And if you don't have any friends in the game, I'll be your friend. No, you can use the party finder and to find people for Shared Fates as well. So, you know, after this video, all the Fur Daddy fans will have their party finders up, so go join and do some Shared Fates. So the next thing that I recommend you could do while waiting for Endwalker, because you still have enough time to do it, you totally have enough time, is do Eureka or do Bozja. I have guides for both of those, again, in the description of the video that I've made, and those are about getting them up high. And if you've already done Bozja, you can farm the metal to get the Rays of Valor, or you could get the field notes as well. That's also another thing you can do to get that cool mount. So Bozja and Eureka are also very viable time sinks up until Endwalker to keep you entertained. I personally love this content, so yeah. So the next thing that you can do is unlock all your Blue Mage spells. There's going to be more Blue Mage spells, and the Blue Mage level cap's going to be increased. And also the Moogle Tombstone event is here, so there's like tons of reasons to level up your Blue Mage. It's been the best time to do it. I highly recommend doing that. And yeah, what I'll go over in this video, just so you're left with some useful information and not just an idea, is some core spells that are really useful for leveling up your Blue Mage. I'm going to post a link in the description of like all the spells you can unlock, but I'm going to give you just like a basic rundown of a few spells that should be able to get you through most content with Blue Mage. Yeah, so looking at that list that I linked in the description, I'm just going to go over my spellbook and just point out the ones that I find pretty useful. So you have, just on the first list, you have Drill Cannons is very useful. Bristle, anything that boosts your damage. Glower is also useful as just like a good filler spell. Toad Oil, Sticky Tongue, Bad Breath, and Mighty Guard are all useful as well. Flying Sardine is a good interrupt spell. Another one that's really useful is Missile. And another one that's a very useful combo to have that I'll leave you with here, because this is like mostly what you need, is the Ultraviolet into Ram's Voice. That's like a good way to just kill like a huge amount of enemies if you're clearing content. So I'll leave you with those, and of course there are other ones, and I'm sure there are guides on more efficient stuff you can unlock. Oh, and etherical mimicry is also a very useful one to have. But with those, you should be able to clear like the dungeons you want to do and get most of the spells and unlock stuff. Just so you're not like just going down the list with like water cannon. Yeah. So moving on. So the next thing that is not so much like a good farming thing you can do that takes up all your time, but just something that you can do while you're online and doing some of this other more passive content is hunts. So I've talked about hunts before. I'll leave a link in the description to my hunts video, and you can check that out. I highly recommend doing them. You get a really cool mount out of it, as well as being able to get some good gear to level up your desynth and stuff like that. So there's lots of great content you can do behind hunts. They don't go all the time, unless you do the weekly ones, but it is a good thing to just sort of fill the time and keep you logged in to the game if you're like me and you never want to log out. So another bit of content that is often looked over but is really cool just to do for fun with your friends or FC if you want to do it is the sightseeing log. So the sightseeing log is basically a bunch of locations. Most of them you can just go to and like /look out, but there are special parameters behind certain locations. So I'll provide a link in the description that's a guide to doing all those. But basically you fly to these specific areas and you can like do the lookout command, and you unlock it, and you get a little piece of lore about that place as well, which is kind of cool if you're a lore fiend like me. And if you do enough sightseeing logs, you also get the you get a minion out of it. So yeah. So this last suggestion that I have is a little bit more esoteric, but it is just sort of a few things kind of crammed into one. So it's just decorating / glamour. You know, if you have a house or you have an apartment or you want to get glamour set up, it's a really good way to organize your inventory. But I mostly say that to get into my second point, which is like checking out some of the RP venues. I've had the privilege of having some people who run some of these venues reach out to me and show me around some of their places. And these places are really fun, and it's a great way to meet people and just chat. And it's kind of crazy if you're coming from WoW or like any other MMO and you haven't seen like that side of the community. It's really cool. There's a lot of really fun stuff. So like next time you see an advertisement in your shout chat or whatever, go check it out. Like I think it's really fun. There's a few places, like some things to look out for that I thought were really fun is like one of them was a fight club that let you do like /roll to bet on people fighting with each other, and they like did the /roll, and then the person who like won, they like role played it, and it was really cool. So I recommend anything like that, and just like, you know, if you're curious about what something is, go check it out and explore that side of the community. Just anything to get you more involved with the game. Yeah, so those are my suggestions. It's not everything. There is other content you can do, but I just wanted to touch on some stuff that maybe you hadn't considered yet. I always get comments on my videos like, oh, I did this for like so many years and I never realized that you could do this. So just like some obscure content that might help you fill some time before Endwalker. So yeah, into the outro. Yeah, so that was the video. Hopefully you guys thought it was interesting. It's not my typical like, you know, guide video, but hopefully it helped you guys understand some content you might have missed. I know there's a lot of people that have like just finished the main scenario and are maybe newer to the game, and that's like a lot of people that have reached out to me from my audience. So if that's you and this is helpful, just let me know in the comment section below, and just let me know in general like what stuff you guys have been doing, what content you've been enjoying and stuff like that. So yeah, just let me know. And again, please go check me out on Twitch. I made and edited this whole video on Twitch as well. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, like the behind the scenes of and participating in like video ideas and stuff, like in this case, a lot of the chat like suggested, you know, ideas for this video in particular, go give me a follow and check out my streams. Yeah, so I'll see you guys with my next video.